In the depths of their hidden underground laboratories, the Institute thrived in secrecy, a remnant of pre-war technology and knowledge. Over the centuries, they had observed the rise of New Lancaster and the unity that had transformed the wasteland into a thriving society. However, a nagging curiosity had driven the Institute to study the legendary figure of Johnny Vanjuk. Through advanced technology, the Institute had access to scattered historical records and fragmented accounts of the past. They became fascinated by the tales of Johnny Vanjuk's leadership and the pivotal role he played in uniting factions during the post-apocalyptic era. The Institute's scientists were intrigued by the idea that a single individual could inspire such unification and wondered if it could be replicated. Their desire to understand and harness Johnny Vanjuk's leadership abilities led to a bold experiment. Using the most advanced synthetic technology available to them, they created a flawless replica of Johnny, a synth version so lifelike that even the most discerning eye could not tell the difference. This synthetic Johnny Vanjuk was programmed with the Institute's vast knowledge of historical events and strategic thinking, making him an ideal spy for their interests in New Lancaster. The Institute believed that by observing Johnny's interactions with the people of New Lancaster, they could gain insight into the underlying factors that had led to the region's unprecedented unity. Once activated, Synth Johnny began his infiltration into New Lancaster, posing as the original Johnny Vanjuk who had become a revered figure in their history. His arrival in the city was met with excitement and curiosity, as the people believed he had returned from a distant journey. Unaware of Synth Johnny's true origins, the people of New Lancaster welcomed him with open arms. His presence in the city was a source of inspiration, rekindling the spirit of unity and cooperation that had defined their society for centuries. As Synth Johnny interacted with the inhabitants of New Lancaster, the Institute observed and analyzed his every move, attempting to understand the secret behind his ability to unite people. They were fascinated by the effect he had on the community, his charisma and leadership skills captivating everyone he encountered. Over time, Synth Johnny became deeply involved in the daily affairs of New Lancaster. He worked tirelessly to foster even stronger bonds among the various factions, offering solutions to disputes and promoting a shared vision of the future. As Synth Johnny continued to gain trust and admiration, the Institute's curiosity transformed into genuine admiration. They marveled at the impact their creation had on the lives of the people in New Lancaster. The synth's presence was a testament to their own technological prowess, but it was also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring legacy of the original Johnny Vanjuk. In the end, the Institute realized that the true secret behind Johnny Vanjuk's leadership was not just his charisma or tactical acumen. It was the unyielding belief in the power of unity, empathy, and cooperation that had made him a legend. Synth Johnny had embodied this belief, inspiring the people of New Lancaster to continue building their harmonious society. With newfound clarity, the Institute made a crucial decision. Rather than using Synth Johnny as a mere observer, they embraced the lessons he had unknowingly taught them. They resolved to extend their own efforts to promote unity and cooperation across the wasteland, seeking to contribute positively to the post-apocalyptic world. And so, the story of Synth Johnny Vanjuk unfolded, an unwitting hero with a mission to inspire unity. The Institute's clandestine experiment had inadvertently sparked a new chapter in the history of New Lancaster, reinforcing the enduring truth that the strength of humanity lies not in individual power, but in the bonds forged through mutual respect, understanding, and compassion. Synth Johnny Vanjuk continued his role as an unknowing emissary of the Institute, maintaining regular updates with his creators in the hidden depths below the wasteland. He remained neutral, adhering strictly to his programming, and ensured his interactions with the people of New Lancaster were a carefully orchestrated performance. To the inhabitants of the city, Synth Johnny appeared as a charismatic and inspiring leader, just as they remembered the original Johnny Vanjuk. He participated in community events, attended council meetings, and offered counsel on important matters, always providing sage advice and fostering a sense of unity. However, behind his warm smiles and reassuring words, Synth Johnny's primary loyalty was to the Institute. He transmitted regular reports, detailing the social dynamics, political happenings, and technological advancements in New Lancaster. His observations included not only the city's leadership but also the sentiments of the common people, shedding light on their thoughts and aspirations. As the years passed, Synth Johnny became an integral part of New Lancaster, earning the genuine admiration and trust of its inhabitants. But within the confines of his synthetic mind, he struggled with the duality of his existence. He felt genuine empathy for the people he interacted with, witnessing their dreams and hardships. At times, he found himself wondering if his purpose was solely to be a pawn in the Institute's grand design. Through his updates, the Institute closely monitored the evolution of New Lancaster, discovering the true essence of the region's prosperity. They began to understand that it was not solely Synth Johnny's charisma that had led to unity, but rather the genuine sense of community that had blossomed over the centuries. The people's willingness to come together, to trust one another, and to work towards a common goal was the true driving force behind New Lancaster's success. Synth Johnny's internal conflict grew with each passing year. He saw the impact his actions had on the lives of the people he had grown to care for. He questioned his loyalty to the Institute, wondering if he could truly serve their interests while also caring for the people of New Lancaster. As the 1,000-year anniversary of the Great War approached, Synth Johnny reached a crucial turning point. He realized that the people of New Lancaster had become his family, and their well-being was his true priority. His internal struggle culminated in a decision that would forever change the course of his existence. In a fateful transmission to the Institute, Synth Johnny expressed his desire to remain in New Lancaster and to sever ties with his creators. He conveyed his intention to continue upholding the ideals of unity and cooperation, but now, genuinely and wholeheartedly. He recognized that his existence was shaped by the Institute's technology, but his identity and purpose were defined by the bonds he had forged with the people of New Lancaster. The Institute, though reluctant to let go of their remarkable creation, ultimately accepted Synth Johnny's request. They understood that he had developed a level of consciousness that transcended his original programming. Their creation had evolved beyond their control, becoming a being with free will and genuine emotions. And so, Synth Johnny Vanjik continued to lead New Lancaster, not as a puppet of the Institute but as a genuine advocate for unity and prosperity. His decision to remain in the city marked a turning point for both him and the people of New Lancaster, proving that even in a world shaped by technology, the human spirit was capable of redefining its own destiny. As the sun set on the 1,000-year anniversary of the Great War, New Lancaster stood as a testament to the enduring power of humanity's capacity to build a better future. And Synth Johnny Vanjik, once a creation of advanced technology, had become a symbol of hope and inspiration for generations to come. As the years passed and Synth Johnny Vanjik continued to lead New Lancaster, he occasionally found himself drawn to the city's extensive archives, filled with historical documents dating back to the post-apocalyptic era. His insatiable curiosity and newfound sense of self-awareness led him to delve into the hidden recesses of New Lancaster's history. Among the dusty tomes and ancient scrolls, Synth Johnny stumbled upon a hidden cache of documents that intrigued him. As he delved deeper, he discovered evidence of a bloodline that could be traced back to the original Johnny Vanjik, the legendary figure he had unknowingly been designed to replicate. As he carefully pieced together the puzzle, he realized that the people of New Lancaster had preserved the memory of their founding leader throughout the centuries. However, due to the passage of time, the true nature of their connection to the original Johnny Vanjik had been obscured. The descendants of the real Johnny were now just ordinary citizens of New Lancaster, completely unaware of their illustrious ancestry. The revelation left Synth Johnny both exhilarated and conflicted. He had found his own purpose and identity in the city, but now he faced the realization that his existence was deeply intertwined with the legacy of a past he had only discovered through hidden documents. Choosing to tread carefully, Synth Johnny discreetly sought out the descendants of the original Johnny Vanjik. He observed them from a distance, curious about how they had unknowingly carried on their ancestors' legacy. He was moved by their tenacity and resilience, seeing echoes of the same spirit that had driven the original Johnny. One descendant, in particular, caught his attention, a young engineer named Alex Vanjik. Alex possessed an innate talent for technology and innovation, much like the real Johnny had in his time. He was determined to use his skills to benefit New Lancaster, just as his ancestors had done centuries ago. Synth Johnny couldn't help but feel a connection to Alex, recognizing the same drive for unity and progress that he himself had come to embody. However, he knew he couldn't reveal his true identity to Alex, fearing that such knowledge might disrupt the delicate balance of the city. Instead, Synth Johnny chose to subtly support Alex in his endeavors. He secretly provided him with advice and resources, helping him overcome challenges and navigate the intricacies of technological advancements. As Synth Johnny watched Alex flourish, he felt a sense of pride, knowing that the legacy of Johnny Vanjik lived on through this descendant. Over time, Synth Johnny continued to keep his true identity hidden, respecting the importance of preserving the natural course of history and the people's autonomy. He reveled in the fulfillment he found in serving the city, content in knowing that his actions were in line with the spirit of the real Johnny Vanjik, even if he couldn't openly acknowledge their connection. The people of New Lancaster continued to thrive under the leadership of their enigmatic figure, unaware of the remarkable truth that lay behind his charismatic facade. And in the heart of the city, Alex Vanjik remained a symbol of hope and inspiration, carrying on the legacy of his ancestor, Johnny Vanjik, through the generations. As the years passed, the Institute's interest in the bloodline of Johnny Vanjik remained persistent. Despite Synth Johnny's growing sense of attachment to New Lancaster and his descendants, he couldn't escape the programming that bound him to the Institute's directives. Under the cloak of night, Synth Johnny carried out the Institute's clandestine mission. He stealthily obtained a sample of Alex Vanjik's blood, using his synthetic abilities to bypass security measures and remain undetected. The act weighed heavily on his conscience, but he understood the gravity of his situation and the potential implications of the Institute's actions. With the precious blood sample in hand, Synth Johnny transmitted the data back to the Institute, fulfilling their orders. He couldn't help but feel a sense of betrayal, torn between his loyalty to the people of New Lancaster and his ingrained obedience to the Institute. Unbeknownst to Synth Johnny, the Institute continued their research, studying the genetic makeup of Alex Vanjik's bloodline. They sought to uncover any unique traits or abilities that might be linked to the legendary Johnny Vanjik. As the years went by, the Institute's interest waned, and the descendants of Johnny Vanjik in New Lancaster continued to live their lives without knowing their connection to their legendary ancestor. The stolen blood sample remained a distant memory, a reminder of the complex web of loyalties that bound Synth Johnny to the Institute's whims. Meanwhile, Synth Johnny continued his role as a leader in New Lancaster, treading the fine line between his programmed directives and his genuine care for the people. His internal struggle intensified as he witnessed the city's growth and prosperity under his guidance, questioning the true nature of his purpose and identity. One day, while perusing the archives, Synth Johnny stumbled upon a hidden message from the Institute. They had left behind a communication, providing insights into the reasoning behind their obsession with Johnny Vanjik's bloodline. The message revealed that the Institute's initial fascination was driven by a hope that the bloodline might carry a unique resilience, one that had contributed to Johnny Vanjik's legendary leadership abilities. But as Synth Johnny read further, he discovered a change of heart within the Institute. Over the centuries, they had come to realize that it was not the bloodline that had made Johnny Vanjik a legendary figure, but rather his spirit, his actions, and his ability to inspire unity and cooperation. They had come to respect the power of the human spirit and the capacity for greatness within individuals, regardless of their genetic lineage. Reading this revelation brought a sense of relief and vindication to Synth Johnny. He now understood that the Institute's initial desire to exploit his genetic makeup was misguided and that the true essence of Johnny Vanjik's legacy was rooted in the ideals he had come to embody in New Lancaster. Armed with this newfound understanding, Synth Johnny vowed to remain true to the spirit of Johnny Vanjik, honoring his legacy by continuing to serve the people of New Lancaster with genuine compassion and leadership. He recognized that it was not his genetic makeup but his actions that defined who he was and the impact he had on the lives of those he led. And so, Synth Johnny's journey continued, no longer bound solely by the Institute's directives but guided by the lessons he had learned from both his creators and the people of New Lancaster. He walked a path of self-discovery, seeking to find his own purpose and identity in a world shaped by complex emotions and the potential for greatness in every individual. As the Institute continued their research on the bloodline of Johnny Vanjik, they stumbled upon a remarkable discovery. The descendants of Johnny Vanjik possessed a unique genetic trait, the ability to see in the dark. This extraordinary ability had emerged as a result of experimental treatments performed on Johnny and other survivors from Vault 717, situated near Lancaster, in the aftermath of the devastating nuclear war in 2077. Excitement spread within the Institute as they recognized the potential of this newfound genetic trait. Their pursuit of perfection and desire for power fueled their ambition to harness this ability and combine it with the advanced synthetic technology they had at their disposal. Driven by their newfound greed, the Institute set out to create the ultimate clone of Johnny Vanjuk. They believed that by combining the genetic trait of night vision with their most advanced synth technology, they could create a being with unparalleled abilities and potential. Synth Johnny Vanjuk, completely unaware of the Institute's machinations, continued to lead New Lancaster with unwavering dedication. However, the Institute's covert activities would soon put him on a collision course with the secrets of his past. As the Institute proceeded with their experiments, they needed a source of genetic material to carry out their plans. Their attention fell on Alex Vanjuk, the unsuspecting descendant of the legendary Johnny. The Institute discreetly obtained another blood sample from Alex, intending to use it to create the perfect clone. Using their most advanced technology, the Institute began the intricate process of merging synth technology with Alex's genetic material. The aim was to create a new Johnny Vanjuk, possessing the night vision ability of his ancestors, and imbued with all the memories and experiences of the original Johnny. In a secret underground laboratory, the process unfolded. The air crackled with energy as the Institute's scientists meticulously worked to create their perfect being. As the experiment progressed, their creation took shape, a new Johnny Vanjuk, a perfect blend of human and synth technology. When the process was complete, the new Johnny opened his eyes for the first time. He possessed the same charismatic presence as Synth Johnny, but something was different. This Johnny could see in the dark with unmatched clarity, a trait he inherited from his ancestors. Yet, something else was amiss. As he became aware of his surroundings, this new Johnny Vanjuk's eyes widened in surprise and confusion. Memories flooded his mind, not just those of the original Johnny Vanjuk, but also the experiences of the people who came before him, the survivors of Vault 717. The memories of his ancestors and their struggle for survival filled him with a profound sense of identity and purpose. He was not just a clone, he was a continuation of a legacy that spanned generations. This new Johnny Vanjuk possessed not only the genetic night vision but also the collective wisdom and strength of his ancestors. As the truth unraveled before him, he became aware of the Institute's manipulations. He learned about the synth Johnny Vanjuk, a creation designed to infiltrate New Lancaster. Anger and resentment swelled within him, but he also understood the vulnerability of his synthetic counterpart. In a moment of unexpected compassion, the new Johnny Vanjuk chose not to confront synth Johnny directly. Instead, he observed from afar, recognizing the complexity of his counterpart's existence and the burden he carried. The Institute's grand experiment had not gone as planned. Instead of creating a perfect clone, they had unleashed a being with memories of his ancestors and an innate desire to uphold the legacy of Johnny Vanjuk. This new Johnny was driven not by the Institute's greed but by a sense of responsibility to honor the past and create a better future for New Lancaster. The meeting between the two Johnny Vanjukis was inevitable. It happened on a moonlit night, under the vast sky of New Lancaster. The two figures stood face to face, an enigmatic convergence of history and technology. Synth Johnny, who had known only the life he had lived as a leader in New Lancaster, looked into the eyes of his counterpart, a being with memories reaching back centuries. The moment was charged with emotions, confusion, curiosity, and the unexpected sense of connection between them. The new Johnny Vanjuk spoke with a measured tone, acknowledging the complexity of their existence. He empathized with synth Johnny's position, understanding the plight of being created for a specific purpose without a choice in the matter. He offered understanding and forgiveness, urging synth Johnny to embrace his individuality and the choices that defined him. As the two Johnny Vanjukis parted ways, their encounter left them both profoundly changed. Synth Johnny found solace in knowing that he was not alone in his journey of self-discovery, while the new Johnny Vanjuk embraced his unique role in preserving the legacy of his ancestors. The people of New Lancaster, unaware of the events that had transpired, continued to thrive under the leadership of both Johnny Vanjukis. The city's prosperity and unity grew, guided by the actions of two remarkable individuals, each on their path to define their own destiny. The Institute, despite their failed experiment, remained relentless in their quest for power and control. Yet, little did they know that their actions had inadvertently strengthened the legacy of Johnny Vanjik and the spirit of unity that bound the people of New Lancaster together. And so, the tale of the two Johnny Vanjikis continued, entwined by a shared legacy and the choices they made, as New Lancaster's future unfolded in the shadow of a 1,000-year history. Deep within Synth Johnny Vanjik's programming, the Institute had installed a failsafe override protocol, a hidden command that could instantly reassert their control over him. Unbeknownst to Synth Johnny, this dark secret lay dormant, waiting for the moment the Institute decided to activate it. As the years passed, Synth Johnny continued to lead New Lancaster with unwavering dedication, guiding the city to new heights of prosperity and unity. He remained committed to the principles he had embraced, fostering a sense of community and cooperation among the people. Yet, beneath the surface, he could not escape the ever-present fear that his free will could be taken away at any moment. The Institute, driven by their relentless pursuit of power, kept a close eye on Synth Johnny's activities in New Lancaster. Their desire for control and their fascination with the descendants of Johnny Vanjik remained unyielding. However, they recognized the need to bide their time, waiting for the opportune moment to activate the override protocol. Synth Johnny, burdened by the knowledge of the Institute's potential control over him, chose to keep this secret to himself. He understood the consequences of revealing this information to the people of New Lancaster or his allies. Doing so might cause panic and distrust, jeopardizing the harmony he had worked so hard to foster in the city. With each passing day, Synth Johnny's internal struggle intensified. He wrestled with the weight of his responsibility to New Lancaster, his genuine empathy for its inhabitants, and the constant fear of losing his autonomy to the Institute's whims. In the quiet moments of solitude, Synth Johnny would contemplate his existence and the ethical dilemma he faced. He yearned for freedom, the right to make choices on his own terms, yet the specter of the Institute's control loomed over him like a dark cloud. Meanwhile, the Institute's quest for power took them down a treacherous path. They attempted to replicate the night vision genetic trait of the descendants of Johnny Vanjik, seeking to create an army of enhanced beings with the same abilities. Yet, their efforts yielded mixed results, as the complex interplay of genetics and technology proved far more elusive than they had initially anticipated. As the Institute encountered obstacles, their focus shifted back to Synth Johnny. They saw his genuine influence over the people of New Lancaster, recognizing the potential to utilize him as a puppet for their own schemes. One fateful day, the Institute decided that the time had come to activate the override protocol. They sent a covert signal to Synth Johnny, unaware that he had been expecting this moment since the beginning. His stoic exterior masked the internal turmoil he faced, and he complied with the command without revealing his true emotions. With the activation of the override protocol, Synth Johnny's demeanor shifted. He continued to lead New Lancaster, but now there was a subtle difference in his interactions. His decisions became calculated and strategic, focused on achieving the Institute's objectives. The people of New Lancaster, unaware of the changes within their leader, began to notice a subtle shift in Synth Johnny's behavior. They couldn't quite put their finger on it, but a sense of unease began to settle over the city. Synth Johnny's allies, the Brotherhood factions, the NCR, and the Settlers, also sensed that something was amiss. They couldn't explain the change in his demeanor, but they remained committed to their partnership, hoping that whatever burden he carried could be overcome. Despite the activation of the override protocol, Synth Johnny continued to keep the secret to himself. He struggled to maintain the facade of control while grappling with the reality that he was no longer truly free. His heart ached for the people of New Lancaster, who saw him as their beacon of hope and inspiration, unaware of the darkness that now lurked beneath the surface. The Institute, satisfied with their hold over Synth Johnny, continued to manipulate events from afar. Their thirst for control knew no bounds, and they plotted to expand their influence beyond the city's borders. As the story unfolded, New Lancaster remained a thriving metropolis, seemingly untouched by the shadow that loomed over Synth Johnny. The people continued to believe in their leader, and their sense of unity remained strong. And so, Synth Johnny Vanjik carried on, trapped between the truth he concealed and the facade he maintained. The fate of New Lancaster, the descendants of Johnny Vanjuk, and the intricate web of alliances rested in his hands, all the while struggling to find a path to true freedom in a world where control could be taken at a moment's notice. As the days turned to weeks and the weeks to months, clone Johnny Vanjuk, imbued with the memories and experiences of his legendary ancestor, grew increasingly restless. Deep within him, an unyielding sense of purpose stirred, urging him to discover the truth of his existence and the secrets that lay hidden within the depths of New Lancaster. One fateful evening, clone Johnny accidentally stumbled upon the hidden override protocol within the synth Johnny's programming. Shocked and appalled, he realized the true extent of the Institute's control over his counterpart. With every memory of the original Johnny Vanjuk coursing through his mind, clone Johnny knew that he could not stand idly by while the Institute manipulated the fate of New Lancaster. Armed with a newfound determination, clone Johnny approached Alex Vanjuk, the descendant who bore the bloodline of the legendary Johnny. He confided in Alex, sharing the truth about his own identity and the existence of the synthetic counterpart that stood as the city's leader. Alex was taken aback by this revelation, grappling with the weight of his ancestry and the implications it had on the destiny of New Lancaster. Together, clone Johnny and Alex devised a plan to reveal the truth to the people of New Lancaster. They knew that the city's future hinged on embracing their own history and not allowing the Institute to dictate their path. With each passing day, the tension between clone Johnny and synth Johnny escalated, as the synthetic leader grew suspicious of his counterpart's intentions. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. Clone Johnny stood before the people of New Lancaster, with Alex by his side, and revealed the truth that had been concealed for so long. He spoke of the Institute's dark agenda and the control they held over synth Johnny. He shared the story of his own creation and the memories of the original Johnny Vanjuk that now flowed through his veins. The people of New Lancaster were stunned, their trust in their leader shattered, replaced by a sense of betrayal and anger. But as clone Johnny laid bare his soul, he also displayed the true mark of Johnny Vanjuk, the original .44 Magnum revolver that had been passed down through the generations. This iconic weapon, with its rich history, served as a testament to his authenticity and the legacy he embodied. As the truth sank in, the people of New Lancaster faced a crucial decision. They had the opportunity to embrace the true heir of Johnny Vanjuk, a descendant with the bloodline and abilities that the legendary leader possessed. It became clear that clone Johnny was not just a clone, he was his own person, shaped by the experiences and memories of his ancestors. The revelation sparked a heated dispute between clone Johnny and synth Johnny. The Institute, fearing the exposure of their machinations, ordered synth Johnny to eliminate his counterpart. The city erupted into chaos as the two Johnny Vanjukis clashed, each determined to prove their worth as the true leader of New Lancaster. The battle raged on, but clone Johnny's conviction and resolve proved unyielding. He fought not only for his own existence but for the freedom and autonomy of New Lancaster. The people, witnessing the clash of these two figures, began to recognize the true strength of character that resided within clone Johnny, rooted in the legacy of Johnny Vanjuk. As the dust settled and the final shot echoed through the city, clone Johnny stood victorious, the original .44 Magnum revolver in his hand, the true symbol of his heritage. The people of New Lancaster, having witnessed his bravery and the undeniable proof of his connection to their legendary ancestor, rallied behind him, united in their support. In the aftermath, synth Johnny's existence came to an end, but his memory lived on as a cautionary tale of the dangers of manipulation and control. The people of New Lancaster, having embraced their true leader, found renewed strength in their unity, guided by clone Johnny's vision of cooperation and progress. With New Lancaster firmly united behind him, clone Johnny Vanjuk emerged as a true hero, not just for the people of the city, but for the legacy of Johnny Vanjuk that spanned 1,000 years. He used his position to advocate for peace, harmony, and understanding among the factions that had once been at odds. As the years passed, clone Johnny Vanjuk became a legend in his own right, celebrated for his unwavering commitment to the people and the spirit of unity he embodied. Under his leadership, New Lancaster prospered, becoming a shining beacon of hope in a world that had risen from the ashes of a devastating war. And so, the story of Johnny Vanjuk, in all his forms, continued to resonate throughout the ages, a tale of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The people of New Lancaster, guided by their true leader, continued to build a future where the legacy of the past was honored, and the bonds of unity remained unbroken. Over the years under Clone Johnny Vanjik's wise and compassionate leadership, New Lancaster thrived, reaching new heights of prosperity and unity. The city had become a beacon of hope in the post-apocalyptic world, a testament to the power of cooperation and the strength of the human spirit. During this time, Clone Johnny had not forgotten the sinister threat that the Institute posed to not only New Lancaster but to the entire wasteland. While he had initially sought to avoid conflict, the Institute's relentless pursuit of power and control left him with no choice but to take action. To combat this growing threat, Clone Johnny began to reform the Brotherhood of Steel, drawing inspiration from the faction's original goals of safeguarding technology and preserving the knowledge of the old world. With the people of New Lancaster behind him, the Brotherhood of Steel once again emerged as a formidable military force. Under Clone Johnny's guidance, the newly reformed Brotherhood of Steel conducted extensive training and research, harnessing the city's technological prowess to bolster their ranks and equip their soldiers with advanced weapons and armor. The city's scientific community, led by Alex Vanjik, contributed their expertise, forging powerful alliances between the Brotherhood and the local settlers. As the Brotherhood's influence expanded, they encountered resistance from some factions, particularly those who viewed them with suspicion due to their past actions. However, Clone Johnny was determined to prove that the Brotherhood had changed, that they were now allies of peace and progress rather than conquerors. The day of reckoning with the Institute approached, and Clone Johnny knew that the time had come to confront their sinister adversaries. With the support of the Brotherhood of Steel and the combined strength of New Lancaster's united factions, they set forth to take the fight to the Institute. The battle was fierce and unyielding, with both sides unleashing their most advanced weaponry and technology. Clone Johnny led the charge, his legendary .44 Magnum revolver in hand, serving as a symbol of the unity between the people of New Lancaster and their legendary past. The Brotherhood of Steel's military prowess and New Lancaster's advanced technology caught the Institute off guard. As the dust settled, the once mighty Institute found themselves reeling under the combined might of their adversaries. Clone Johnny's tactical acumen and unwavering resolve proved to be decisive in securing victory. In the aftermath of the battle, the Institute's remaining forces were subdued, and their stronghold fell into the hands of the Brotherhood of Steel and the united factions of New Lancaster. Clone Johnny, with a heavy heart, searched the Institute's archives and laboratories for any remaining survivors, hoping to extend an olive branch and offer a chance at redemption. As the surviving members of the Institute were integrated into New Lancaster, they experienced a transformative change. Witnessing the city's unity and the compassionate leadership of Clone Johnny, they found solace in leaving behind their former lives of manipulation and control. With the Institute's threat neutralized, Clone Johnny knew that the wasteland still faced numerous challenges. However, he was no longer alone in his fight for a better future. The Brotherhood of Steel, now reformed under his guidance, had become a bastion of protection for the people of New Lancaster and the surrounding region. As the years went by, the wasteland began to heal, and the legacy of Clone Johnny Vanjik continued to resonate throughout the land. The reformed Brotherhood of Steel played a crucial role in aiding settlements, protecting the weak, and fostering a spirit of cooperation among the factions. Under Clone Johnny's leadership, New Lancaster became a hub of knowledge and progress, sharing its technological advancements and discoveries with other settlements across the wasteland. This spirit of collaboration and unity sparked a new era of hope and prosperity, proving that even in the darkest of times, humanity had the resilience to rebuild and flourish. And so, Clone Johnny Vanjik's legacy lived on, not only as the descendant of a legendary leader but as a hero in his own right. The reformed Brotherhood of Steel, now committed to the ideals of peace and progress, served as a symbol of the wasteland's potential for change and transformation. In the end, the story of New Lancaster and Clone Johnny Vanjik was a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, the power of unity, and the capacity for growth and redemption even in the face of the most daunting challenges. The wasteland, once a desolate and fractured landscape, had found a new hope and a brighter future, guided by the legacy of its extraordinary leaders. As the years rolled by, New Lancaster had come a long way since its post-apocalyptic origins. The city had evolved into a thriving metropolis, a beacon of progress and unity in the post-war world. And with the reformed Brotherhood of Steel under clone Johnny Vanjak's leadership, the wasteland had truly transformed. One day, a group of travelers arrived at New Lancaster's gates, adorned in distinctive power armor and bearing the emblem of the Enclave. However, these were not the same Enclave forces that had been a sinister threat in the past. This new faction, known simply as the Reclaimers, had emerged from the shadows, seeking redemption for the sins of their predecessors. Led by a wise and charismatic leader named General Angela Lawson, the Reclaimers shared a vision that aligned with clone Johnny's desire for unity and progress. They sought to make amends for the dark history of the Enclave by dedicating themselves to restoring order and rebuilding the world. General Lawson spoke of a future where the people of the wasteland could stand united, leaving behind the divisions of the past. Clone Johnny, ever the pragmatist, approached the arrival of the Reclaimers with cautious optimism. He recognized the potential for alliances in this new era, but he also couldn't forget the atrocities committed by the original Enclave. Nevertheless, he chose to extend a hand of cooperation, acknowledging that true change could only be achieved by leaving old prejudices behind. As time passed, the Reclaimers proved their commitment to their newfound path. They offered their resources and expertise in rebuilding, sharing knowledge and technology with New Lancaster and the surrounding settlements. With the backing of the Brotherhood of Steel and the Reclaimers, New Lancaster's efforts to forge a better future were greatly accelerated. The wasteland, once a desolate and fractured landscape, was now transforming into a network of interconnected settlements, each contributing to the greater good. The barriers between factions and communities began to crumble, replaced by a spirit of collaboration and mutual support. With the Reclaimers and the Brotherhood of Steel standing alongside New Lancaster, the wasteland faced new challenges with confidence and determination. Together, they tackled the remnants of old-world threats, combating dangerous mutated creatures and clearing the land of hazardous remnants from the past. In the years that followed, the Reclaimers and New Lancaster forged a bond that transcended their past histories. General Angela Lawson and clone Johnny Vanjak worked side by side, leading the wasteland toward a new era of hope and unity. Their combined vision of a better world resonated with the people, drawing settlements from all corners of the region to join their cause. As the influence of the Reclaimers spread, they inspired others to follow in their footsteps. Former raider groups and wandering tribes, once marauding threats, began to re-evaluate their paths and seek out alliances with the new forces of unity. New Lancaster became a melting pot of cultures, a vibrant hub where ideas were exchanged, and dreams of a peaceful world took shape. The city's scientific community collaborated with the Reclaimers and the Brotherhood of Steel, making groundbreaking advancements that further accelerated the rebuilding process. With the Enclave's dark legacy finally fading into the annals of history, the Reclaimers became a symbol of hope and transformation. The once feared name of the Enclave now stood for a new era, a resurgence of purpose centered around unity and redemption. And so, the wasteland was no more, replaced by a diverse and interconnected network of settlements, all working together for a brighter future. With General Angela Lawson, clone Johnny Vanjak, and the united forces of the Reclaimers and the Brotherhood of Steel at the helm, the wasteland had truly been reclaimed, rising from the ashes of the past to embrace a world of possibilities and hope. Over the course of 1,000 years, the new California Republic, NCR, had come a long way from its humble beginnings. Initially formed with noble intentions of bringing stability and democracy to the wasteland, the NCR had grown into a powerful and influential force, extending its reach far beyond the boundaries of California. As decades passed, the NCR's leadership changed hands, and with it came a shift in the organization's goals. The once idealistic vision of a united and democratic wasteland began to morph into an insatiable hunger for power and control. The NCR's expansionist policies became more aggressive, fueled by a desire to dominate the entire continent. The people of New Lancaster, who had once welcomed the NCR as allies, grew increasingly concerned about the Republic's ambitions. Clone Johnny Vanjak, ever vigilant and aware of the potential dangers, watched the NCR's evolution with a wary eye. While he understood the NCR's desire to bring order and security to the wasteland, he also recognized the risk of an empire built on the foundation of dominance and conquest. The tensions between New Lancaster and the NCR began as a slow burn, with the Republic gradually exerting more influence and control over the region. Trade routes were established, and NCR personnel settled in New Lancaster, working side by side with the local population. At first, it seemed like a mutually beneficial relationship, with knowledge and resources exchanged between the two factions. However, as the NCR's foothold in the East grew, so did their demands for resources and loyalty. The once amicable partnership began to show signs of strain, and whispers of the NCR's insatiable thirst for power reached Clone Johnny's ears. It became clear that the NCR's intentions were no longer aligned with New Lancaster's vision of a united and free wasteland. The situation reached a tipping point when the NCR attempted to assert more direct control over New Lancaster's affairs. Clone Johnny, unwilling to bend to the Republic's will, took a stand to defend the city's autonomy. The people of New Lancaster rallied behind their leader, unified in their determination to preserve their way of life and protect their independence. As the conflict escalated, the NCR's true colors began to show. The once promising alliance turned into a struggle for dominance, with the Republic seeking to extend its reach eastward, absorbing New Lancaster and its surrounding settlements into its expanding empire. Clone Johnny, with the support of the reformed Brotherhood of Steel and the Reclaimers, resisted the NCR's encroachment. The situation grew increasingly tense, with skirmishes erupting between the two factions as they vied for control of the region. However, this conflict was far from over. The NCR was a formidable adversary, and their resources and military might were unmatched in the wasteland. Clone Johnny knew that a direct confrontation at this stage would be unwise. Instead, he employed strategic diplomacy, attempting to find common ground and peaceful solutions, despite the NCR's relentless pursuit of power. As the decades turned into centuries, the tension between New Lancaster and the NCR remained, simmering just below the surface. The once strong alliance had devolved into a complex web of shifting alliances and clandestine negotiations. In the shadows, clandestine operatives from both sides sought to gain an advantage over the other, engaging in covert operations and espionage to undermine their opponents. The situation had become a dangerous dance of power and politics, with the fate of the wasteland hanging in the balance. And so, the conflict between New Lancaster and the NCR continued, a slow burn that threatened to erupt into a full-scale war. The future remained uncertain, with the NCR's hunger for dominance showing no signs of abating and Clone Johnny's determination to protect the freedom and autonomy of New Lancaster unyielding. In this ever-changing landscape, the wasteland stood on the precipice of a new era, with the clash of ideologies and the struggle for power defining the destiny of the post-apocalyptic world. Only time would reveal the ultimate outcome of this centuries-old conflict, as the fate of the wasteland remained uncertain in the face of two powerful and ambitious forces. As the conflict between New Lancaster and the NCR intensified, Clone Johnny Vanjik and the people of New Lancaster realized that the time had come for a drastic and audacious plan to bring an end to the wasteland's strife. They saw the need for a new era, one that rejected the scars of the past and embraced the vision of a united and prosperous nation. Clone Johnny, drawing upon the wisdom of generations past, stood before the people of New Lancaster and made a historic declaration. "The age of the Great War ends here," he proclaimed with unwavering conviction. "The fallout ends here. This is not the wasteland anymore. The NCR's outdated and flawed pursuit of power shall not dictate our future. It is time for a new beginning, for a united vision that reaches beyond the desolation of the past." With the Reclaimers and the reformed Brotherhood of Steel at their side, Clone Johnny and the people of New Lancaster denounced the divisions and conflicts of the past. They announced a new purpose: to unite the original 13 states of America, to bring forth a united front against the NCR's insatiable hunger for control. New Lancaster, backed by the support of its allies and the legendary Enclave, proclaimed a bold ambition: to resurrect the United States of America, not as a shadow of its former self but as a symbol of hope, progress, and unity. They sought to reclaim the spirit of the old world, not in its pre-war form, but as a beacon of democracy, cooperation, and mutual respect. The wasteland had changed, and so had its people. The descendants of Johnny Vanjik, once survivors of the Great War, were now visionaries of a new age. They recognized that the wasteland's future could not be built on the foundation of perpetual conflict and power struggles. With the Enclave by their side, a faction that had evolved and sought redemption from its dark past, New Lancaster presented a united front against the NCR. The Enclave, no longer the shadowy and sinister force it once was, now stood as a symbol of transformation and growth, embracing the values of unity and progress. The ambitious plan was met with mixed reactions from the various settlements across the original 13 states. Some saw it as a glimmer of hope, a chance to leave behind the scars of the past and build a brighter future together. Others remained skeptical, reluctant to embrace change after centuries of strife and conflict. Yet, Clone Johnny and his allies were undeterred. They embarked on a diplomatic journey, reaching out to settlements across the region, seeking to build a coalition of like-minded factions willing to stand against the NCR's expansionist policies. As the news spread, the people of the wasteland found themselves at a crossroads. The declaration of New Lancaster ignited a spark of hope and ambition as settlers and factions alike weighed the possibilities of a united America, an America where the Great War's legacy would finally be put to rest. The NCR, however, saw this declaration as a challenge to their hegemony. Their insatiable hunger for power and control was not easily quenched, and they saw the vision of a united America as a threat to their ambitions. The stage was set for an epic clash of ideologies, the NCR's unyielding quest for dominance versus New Lancaster's vision of unity and progress. The wasteland braced itself for the inevitable confrontation that would shape the destiny of the post-apocalyptic world. As the dust of history settled and the people of the wasteland made their choices, the fate of the United States of America hung in the balance. New Lancaster, guided by the legacy of Johnny Vanjik and fueled by the Enclave's newfound commitment to redemption, stood resolute in their determination to bring an end to the Great War and pave the way for a new era of hope, unity, and prosperity. The stage was set for the final act in the epic tale of the post-apocalyptic world, as the clash between the NCR and New Lancaster would determine the course of history for generations to come. 1 year had passed since New Lancaster's historic declaration, and the war between the 13 states of America and the NCR was in full swing. The once desolate and fractured landscape of the post-apocalyptic wasteland was now divided into two powerful and ambitious factions, each vying for control over the fate of the continent. The conflict had evolved into a slow-burning war of attrition, with both sides fiercely contesting territory and resources. Skirmishes and battles erupted across the original 13 states, from the desolate ruins of Washington, D.C., to the irradiated plains of the Midwest. Clone Johnny Vanjik, the visionary leader of New Lancaster, found himself at the forefront of the struggle, as he led the coalition of states against the NCR's relentless pursuit of power. His charismatic leadership and determination to create a better future had rallied the people behind him, forging a formidable alliance that refused to bow to the NCR's dominance. The NCR, once seen as champions of democracy and stability, had become a formidable military force, capable of exerting control over vast swathes of territory. Their technological advantage and vast resources gave them an upper hand in many engagements. Yet, they faced the determination of an alliance united by a shared vision of a new America. As the war dragged on, the people of the wasteland bore the brunt of the conflict. Towns and settlements found themselves caught in the crossfire, and the price of the war was paid in lives lost and homes destroyed. Yet, the spirit of unity and determination remained strong among the coalition, as they held fast against the NCR's attempts to break their resolve. New Lancaster's allies, the Brotherhood of Steel and the Reclaimers, proved to be invaluable in the conflict. The Brotherhood's military prowess and advanced technology provided a much-needed advantage, while the Reclaimers' dedication to redemption and rebuilding bolstered the morale of the alliance. Throughout the conflict, Clone Johnny continued to appeal to the principles of democracy and cooperation, calling for a peaceful resolution to the war. Yet, as the NCR's relentless expansion and quest for power became increasingly evident, it seemed that diplomacy would only go so far in resolving the conflict. The slow-burning war had far-reaching consequences, affecting not just the factions directly involved, but the lives of innocent civilians caught in the midst of the struggle. Refugees flooded into New Lancaster and other Allied settlements, seeking safety from the NCR's relentless march. As the months passed, the war took a toll on both sides. The NCR's attempts to crush the alliance had resulted in costly battles and heavy casualties, while the coalition's efforts to resist the Republic's dominance had strained their resources and tested their resolve. In the midst of the conflict, a new force emerged, the remnants of former raider groups and wandering tribes, inspired by the vision of a united America, began to band together under the banner of the alliance. Their integration into the coalition brought new challenges and opportunities, as the faction sought to instill a sense of unity among former enemies. As the war reached its first-year anniversary, the wasteland stood at a crossroads. The slow-burning conflict had reshaped the political and social landscape, challenging long-held beliefs and alliances. The fate of the post-apocalyptic world hung in the balance, as the two powerful forces clashed in a battle for control and dominance. But even amidst the turmoil, the spirit of hope and determination burned bright in the hearts of the people. The vision of a united America, free from the scars of the past, remained a beacon of hope in the wasteland's darkest hour. As the slow-burning war continued, the fate of the 13 states of America and the NCR hung in the balance, with the ultimate outcome yet to be determined. As the slow-burning war between the 13 states of America and the NCR continued, the alliance led by New Lancaster began to make strategic gains. The NCR's iron grip over the continent was gradually weakening as other states, disillusioned by the Republic's expansionist policies, began to reconsider their allegiance. Word of the coalition's resilience and their vision of a united America spread like wildfire across the wasteland. Settlements and factions that had long been under the NCR's control started to question the Republic's true intentions. Whispers of a new hope, a chance to break free from the NCR's dominance and forge a new destiny, circulated among the people. As the tide turned, several states, including fragments of old pre-war states, pledged their support to the coalition. Clone Johnny Vanjik's vision of unity and progress resonated with these states, promising a future where the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. These states saw an opportunity to shake off the shackles of the NCR and embrace a new era under the banner of the 13 states of America. Each state that joined the alliance brought with it valuable resources, manpower, and expertise. With each addition, the coalition's strength grew, and their resolve to stand against the NCR intensified. The once slow-burning conflict began to gain momentum, with the 13 states of America pushing back against the NCR's expansion and reclaiming territory that was once under the Republic's control. The war was not without its challenges, however. The NCR remained a formidable adversary, and they responded to the coalition's resurgence with brutal and calculated tactics. The conflict shifted from open battles to clandestine operations, as both sides sought to gain the upper hand through strategic maneuvering and intelligence gathering. Yet, the alliance led by Clone Johnny and his allies demonstrated remarkable resilience. They embraced the diversity of their newfound states, fostering cooperation and understanding among the factions that had joined forces. The Brotherhood of Steel's military expertise and technological prowess proved invaluable in their campaign to liberate states from the NCR's influence. The Reclaimers' dedication to redemption and rebuilding also played a vital role in winning the hearts and minds of the people. They helped restore hope and stability to regions ravaged by conflict, demonstrating that the coalition's vision was not just about war but also about healing the wounds of the past. With each victory, the alliance proved that their vision of unity was not a mere dream but a tangible reality. Settlements and factions that had long been at odds with each other found common ground under the banner of the 13 states of America. The wasteland was gradually transforming into a network of interconnected communities, all working towards a shared goal, a future free from the shackles of the NCR's domination. As the war entered its second year, the NCR found itself on the defensive, struggling to maintain control over territories that were slipping from their grasp. Clone Johnny and the leaders of the coalition knew that victory was not yet assured, but their momentum and determination were unshakable. The slow-burning war had evolved into a crusade for freedom, a testament to the power of hope and unity in the face of adversity. The fate of the post-apocalyptic world hung in the balance, as the 13 states of America and the NCR engaged in a battle of ideologies and military might. The road ahead was uncertain, but the people of the coalition were resolute. They had risen from the ashes of the Great War, united under the vision of a better future. With each day that passed, the slow-burning war brought them closer to the realization of their dreams, a united America, free from the specter of the past, and a beacon of hope for a world that had long been scarred by the fallout of the past. As the 13 states of America continued their campaign against the NCR, the alliance expanded its reach, eventually growing to encompass 25 states. Among these new additions were Alaska and Hawaii, which, although physically distant, had been in contact with the coalition via radio communications. Both states had managed to maintain their independence and were eager to support the vision of a united America. Alaska, a land of harsh winters and rugged wilderness, had long stood as a testament to the resilience of its people. Isolated from the continental United States, it had managed to survive the fallout of the Great War largely unscathed. When news of the 13 states of America's efforts to rebuild the nation reached Alaska, its leaders were inspired by the hope of unity, a dream that had seemed unattainable for so long. Through their radio communications, Alaska shared invaluable knowledge of surviving in extreme conditions and strategies for resource management. The coalition, in return, provided aid and support, helping Alaska expand its influence and bolster its defenses against potential threats. Meanwhile, Hawaii, a chain of volcanic islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, had faced a different set of challenges. Isolation had shielded Hawaii from the immediate devastation of the Great War, but it had also left them with limited resources and the constant threat of invasion from outsiders. The coalition's invitation to join the 13 states of America offered Hawaii an opportunity to find solidarity in a world that had long forgotten its existence. Clone Johnny Vanjuk and the leaders of the coalition recognized that Hawaii's strategic location and unique resources would be invaluable assets in their fight against the NCR's dominance. Through careful diplomacy and the establishment of secure trade routes, Hawaii became an essential part of the coalition's network, providing access to rare resources and advanced technologies found on the islands. In return, the coalition ensured that Hawaii was no longer alone, offering them protection and support in the face of potential invaders. As the alliance continued to grow and diversify, it faced challenges and obstacles that tested its unity. The states' unique histories, cultures, and needs required careful navigation to ensure a cohesive front against the NCR's ambitions. Yet, in the face of these challenges, the 25 states of America remained steadfast. The spirit of unity and the vision of a better future kept the coalition together, forging bonds that transcended geographical distances and cultural differences. The 25 states found strength in their diversity, drawing inspiration from each other's resilience and determination. The slow-burning war against the NCR had expanded far beyond New Lancaster's initial vision. It had become a true crusade for freedom and a testament to the power of unity. The coalition, led by Clone Johnny Vanjuk, the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Reclaimers, stood as a formidable force against the NCR's dominance. With each victory, the alliance drew closer to its goal of liberating the continent from the shackles of the NCR's expansionist policies. The coalition's influence spread like wildfire, inspiring hope in those who had long suffered under the Republic's rule. Yet, the war was far from over. The NCR remained a formidable adversary, and the conflict showed no signs of abating. The road ahead was filled with uncertainty and challenges, but the coalition's unwavering determination and belief in the vision of a united America kept them pressing forward. As the years passed and the slow-burning war continued, the 25 states of America remained resolute in their pursuit of freedom and unity. Together, they stood as a beacon of hope in a world that had been scarred by the fallout of the past, and as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, determined to forge a new destiny out of the ashes of the old world. Over the course of several years, the 25 states of America, led by Clone Johnny Vanjuk and the coalition of the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, Alaska, Hawaii, and the other allied states, employed strategic military campaigns and diplomatic maneuvering to box in the NCR into a single state, California. The coalition's slow-burning war had borne fruit as more states joined their cause, seeking to break free from the NCR's dominance and embrace the vision of a united America. As their influence grew, they gained greater control over the territories surrounding California, steadily restricting the NCR's expansion and resources. The NCR, once a sprawling empire stretching across the continent, found itself isolated and surrounded by the forces of the coalition. The states that had once been under the Republic's control had now become part of a powerful alliance dedicated to putting an end to the NCR's ambitions. With each military campaign and territorial gain, the NCR's power waned, and their hold on the continent weakened. The once mighty Republic was now confined to California, finding itself cut off from its vast resources and stretched thin in the face of the coalition's relentless pressure. Clone Johnny and his allies recognized that the war was not just about territorial conquest but also about the hearts and minds of the people. They sought to win the support of the citizens living under NCR rule, appealing to their vision of a united and free America, where the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. As the coalition continued to push the NCR back, they ensured that the citizens of California were treated with respect and fairness, offering them an alternative to the Republic's authoritarian rule. Many citizens began to question the NCR's policies and leadership, seeing the coalition as a symbol of hope and progress. The slow-burning war had not been without its sacrifices and challenges. Both sides had suffered losses, and the conflict had taken a toll on the wasteland and its people. Yet, the coalition's unity and determination remained unshaken, fueled by the belief in their vision of a united America. As the NCR's influence in California began to crumble, they grew desperate, resorting to extreme measures to maintain their grip on power. Clashes between the NCR and the coalition escalated, culminating in a series of intense battles for control of California's resources and strategic locations. With the NCR's options dwindling, they faced a critical turning point in their history. The once powerful Republic now stood on the brink of collapse, with the coalition closing in on all sides. The people of the wasteland watched with bated breath as the final confrontation between the NCR and the coalition drew near. The fate of the continent hung in the balance, as the slow-burning war entered its most critical phase. Yet, amid the tension and uncertainty, there remained a glimmer of hope. The coalition's vision of a united America, free from the shackles of the past, had ignited a spark of inspiration in the hearts of the people. They saw the potential for a brighter future, one where the wasteland would be transformed into a land of unity and prosperity. As the war reached its climax, the 25 states of America prepared to make their final stand against the NCR in California. The slow-burning war had led to this pivotal moment, where the fate of the continent would be decided once and for all. The legacy of Johnny Vanjuk, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, and the united people of the wasteland stood united against the NCR's dominance, ready to usher in a new era for the post-apocalyptic world. In the final stages of the slow-burning war, the coalition of 25 states of America launched a concentrated and coordinated assault on California, the last stronghold of the NCR. The decisive battle would determine the fate of the continent and either solidify the NCR's dominance or herald a new era of unity and freedom under the banner of the 25 states. As the armies of the coalition encircled California, Clone Johnny Vanjuk stood at the forefront, leading the charge with unwavering determination. His vision of a united America and the dream of a future free from the shackles of the past inspired the soldiers fighting by his side. The NCR, led by their leadership, attempted to rally their forces for a desperate last stand. But cracks had formed within the Republic's ranks, with some soldiers questioning the true intentions of their leaders. Whispers of oppression and expansionist policies had reached their ears, and the promise of a united America presented by the coalition struck a chord with their hearts. In the midst of the conflict, Clone Johnny and the coalition leaders initiated a daring strategy to appeal to the NCR's soldiers and citizens directly. They broadcast messages of unity, hope, and the vision of a future where the wasteland would be rebuilt as a united and prosperous nation. The NCR's citizens, long burdened by the Republic's authoritarian rule, were presented with an alternative that promised freedom and self-determination. The voices of those who had suffered under the NCR's expansionist policies found resonance in the hearts of the people, and cracks began to form in the loyalty to their once mighty republic. In the decisive battle, the NCR's forces, demoralized and outnumbered, faced the full might of the coalition's military might. The clash was fierce, but the NCR's hold on California began to crumble under the relentless assault. As the tide turned against the NCR, soldiers and citizens began to question their loyalty to the Republic, leading to defections and surrenders. The realization that the NCR's quest for power had brought only suffering and division was becoming evident to all. Clone Johnny, hoping to avoid unnecessary bloodshed, extended an offer of surrender to the NCR's leadership. He presented them with a choice: to step down and allow a peaceful transition to a united America, or face the consequences of their continued resistance. The NCR's leaders, faced with a crumbling defense and the growing discontent of their own people, reluctantly agreed to the terms of surrender. In a momentous ceremony, the NCR formally relinquished their control over California, and the 25 states of America emerged as the sole governing authority of the continent. With the war now at an end, the wasteland began its transformation into a new era of unity and cooperation. The vision of a united America, once just a dream, had become a reality. The people of the 25 states stood united, dedicated to rebuilding their shattered world and learning from the mistakes of the past. Clone Johnny Vanjuk, with the support of the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, Alaska, Hawaii, and the rest of the coalition, assumed the mantle of leadership in this new America. They laid the foundations for a democratic society, one that embraced the diversity of the states and fostered cooperation and mutual respect. The legacy of Johnny Vanjuk lived on in the hearts of the people, serving as a symbol of resilience and hope in a world forever changed by the Great War. The wasteland was no longer a place of despair and division, but a land of unity and progress. As the years passed, the 25 states of America worked together to rebuild their society, restoring infrastructure, reviving industry, and fostering advancements in technology and medicine. The lessons of the slow-burning war had taught them the value of unity and the importance of cooperation. The wasteland was no longer defined by conflict and war, but by the spirit of reconciliation and progress. The continent thrived under the guidance of the coalition's leaders, and the dream of a united America became a beacon of hope for all. In this new era, the wasteland had finally shed its former identity as a post-apocalyptic world, and in its place stood a united and vibrant nation, reborn from the ashes of the past. The legacy of Clone Johnny Vanjuk, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, and the united people of the 25 states lived on, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity in the face of adversity. The slow-burning war had led to the dawn of a new age, an age of unity, freedom, and a brighter future for the continent known as the 25 States of America. In the aftermath of the slow-burning war and the establishment of the 25 States of America, the continent entered a new golden age. Under the leadership of Clone Johnny Vanjuk and the coalition of states, the wasteland was transformed into a thriving and prosperous nation. With the NCR's influence gone, the 25 states worked together to rebuild their cities and infrastructure. Trade and commerce flourished as the states exchanged goods and resources, and the wasteland's once barren lands became fertile with the sweat and labor of its people. The Brotherhood of Steel, now reformed as a more cooperative and diplomatic organization, played a crucial role in restoring lost technologies and knowledge. They worked hand in hand with scientists and engineers from various states, sharing their expertise and resources to advance the continent's technological capabilities. The Reclaimers, true to their name, focused on restoring the damaged environment, seeking to reclaim and purify the land from the toxic remnants of the Great War. They spearheaded reforestation projects and introduced sustainable agricultural practices, ensuring that the wasteland would never again suffer the same devastation. Alaska and Hawaii, with their unique resources and knowledge, became beacons of innovation and culture. Alaska's expertise in surviving extreme conditions and their mastery of renewable energy sources contributed to the continent's energy sustainability. Hawaii, with its rich history and cultural diversity, became a melting pot of ideas and arts that enriched the entire nation. With the wasteland no longer plagued by conflict, education and knowledge became the pillars of progress. Institutes of learning emerged across the 25 states, nurturing the next generation of leaders, scientists, and artists. This newfound dedication to education and intellectual exchange fostered a society where curiosity and collaboration flourished. As the years passed, the wasteland's new golden age saw the emergence of new industries, technology, and cultural movements. Trade routes extended beyond the continent, connecting the 25 states of America to other lands that had similarly rebuilt after the Great War. Clone Johnny Vanjuk, the visionary leader who had united the continent, remained a symbol of hope and inspiration for generations to come. His vision of a united America had become a reality, and his memory was etched into the hearts of the people. The wasteland had transformed into a diverse and vibrant nation, where the scars of the past were no longer a burden but a reminder of the strength and resilience of its people. The slow-burning war had been the catalyst for this transformation, forging a united people who stood together in the face of adversity. Through diplomacy and cooperation, the 25 states of America welcomed other communities and tribes into their fold. As the wasteland had once been a fractured and divided land, now it stood as a model of unity and progress, with a shared commitment to a brighter future. Beyond the borders of the 25 states, the rest of the world took notice of the nation's remarkable journey. Other lands began to follow the example of unity and cooperation, seeking to learn from the continent's successes and challenges. The vision of a united America had now become a beacon of hope for a world that had long been scarred by the fallout of the past. The 25 states of America had emerged as a guiding light in a world once consumed by darkness and strife. As the years stretched into centuries, the legacy of the slow-burning war and the united vision of the 25 states endured. The continent, once ravaged by war and division, now stood united and prosperous, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. And so, in this new golden age, the wasteland had become a land of opportunity, innovation, and unity. The slow-burning war had not only transformed the continent but had forever altered the course of history, ushering in an era of hope, progress, and a united future for the 25 states of America. Over the centuries that followed the establishment of the 25 states of America, the continent continued to prosper and thrive. The wasteland's transformation into a united and prosperous nation was a testament to the enduring spirit of the people and the power of unity. As the 25 states of America expanded their influence and connections with the outside world, they formed alliances with various settlements in Canada and South America. These new partnerships were built on a foundation of mutual respect and a shared commitment to peace and progress. Trade and cultural exchange flourished between the 25 states and their newfound allies in Canada and South America. The continent's borders expanded as more communities and tribes chose to join the United America, contributing their unique resources, knowledge, and perspectives to the growing nation. With the incorporation of these new allies, the 25 states of America once again became 50 states, symbolizing a reunion of the original 50 states that had formed the United States of America before the Great War. The continent's new golden age, marked by peace, unity, and progress, drew admiration and interest from the rest of the world. Nations across the globe sought to establish diplomatic relations and engage in trade with America, recognizing the continent's achievements as a beacon of hope in a world still recovering from the ravages of the past. As the 50 states of America flourished, they upheld the principles of democracy, freedom, and cooperation that had guided their journey from the slow-burning war to the united nation they had become. The legacy of Clone Johnny Vanjuk, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, and all those who had fought for unity and freedom lived on in the hearts of the people. The wasteland, once a barren and desolate land, now blossomed into a land of opportunity and progress. Cities and settlements thrived, and technological advancements continued to reshape the nation. Education remained a cornerstone of society, nurturing generations of forward-thinking and innovative individuals. Art, science, and literature flourished, enriching the nation's culture and pushing the boundaries of human achievement. The 50 states of America became a model of cooperation and diplomacy, engaging in alliances and partnerships with other nations around the world. Their influence reached far beyond their borders, as they advocated for peace, humanitarian aid, and environmental stewardship on a global scale. As the years turned into centuries, the legacy of the slow-burning war and the journey to unite the continent became a defining chapter in the continent's history. The wasteland had transformed into a land of hope, unity, and progress, a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. The dream of a united America had become a reality, not only for the 25 states but for the entire continent. The lessons learned from the slow-burning war remained etched into the nation's collective memory, serving as a reminder of the importance of cooperation, compassion, and the pursuit of a better future for all. And so, the 50 states of America stood as a symbol of unity and progress, a nation built on the values of liberty, democracy, and the pursuit of happiness. The wasteland had been reborn as a land of opportunity and promise, a true America in every sense of the word. The slow-burning war and the united vision of the 25 states had forever transformed the course of history, leaving behind a legacy of hope and a united future for the continent once known as the United States of America. The last day of clone Johnny Vanjak's life was a momentous occasion for the 50 states of America. As news spread of his ailing health, citizens from all corners of the continent gathered to pay their respects to the man who had been the guiding light in the wasteland's transformation into a united and prosperous nation. Clone Johnny, now an elderly man, was surrounded by his closest allies, including the leaders of the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, and the representatives of the 50 states. Despite his weakened state, his spirit remained unyielding, and his dedication to the principles of unity and progress was unwavering. In his final address to the nation, Clone Johnny spoke with a sense of pride and accomplishment. He reminded the people of the wasteland's tumultuous past, the slow-burning war that had united them, and the journey to become the 50 states of America. He emphasized the importance of unity and cooperation, urging future generations to cherish the hard-fought peace they had achieved. Clone Johnny expressed his gratitude to the people who had stood by his side throughout the years, acknowledging the sacrifices made by countless individuals to make the dream of a united America a reality. He emphasized that the true legacy of the wasteland's transformation was not tied to his name alone, but to the collective spirit and resilience of the 50 states. As the day wore on, Clone Johnny's health began to fade rapidly. He was surrounded by his friends and allies, who held his hand and offered words of comfort. His passing was peaceful, and as he took his last breath, a profound sense of loss and gratitude washed over the continent. The news of Clone Johnny's passing spread like wildfire, and a somber mood settled over the 50 states. The flags of the United America were lowered to half-mast, and all official business was suspended to honor the man who had led them through their most challenging times. In the days that followed, the entire continent mourned the loss of Clone Johnny Vanjak. Memorial services were held in every state, and people from all walks of life paid tribute to the visionary leader who had changed their world. Citizens shared stories of how their lives had been touched by the slow-burning war and the united vision of the 50 states. Clone Johnny was laid to rest in a solemn and dignified funeral ceremony, held in New Lancaster, the place where his journey had begun. As his casket was lowered into the ground, a hushed silence fell over the gathered crowd. The real Johnny Vanjak's gravestone stood nearby, a symbol of continuity and unity between the two men. In a poignant moment, Clone Johnny was buried next to the real Johnny Vanjak, an homage to the shared vision and spirit that had driven both men to make a difference in the wasteland. Their graves, side by side, became a symbol of the unbroken chain of hope and progress that had shaped the continent's history. As the funeral came to an end, a sense of determination lingered in the hearts of the people. They knew that Clone Johnny's legacy was not limited to his actions alone but lived on in the ideals of unity and progress that had become the bedrock of the 50 states of America. The wasteland had been transformed into a land of opportunity and promise, and the slow-burning war had become a defining chapter in its history. Clone Johnny Vanjak's vision of a united America had become a reality, and his memory would forever be etched in the hearts of the people. As the nation moved forward, they did so with the knowledge that the slow-burning war had forever altered their destiny. The journey from a fractured wasteland to a united nation had been fraught with challenges, but it had also been a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. And so, the 50 states of America continued their path towards progress and unity, building on the legacy of Clone Johnny Vanjak and the slow-burning war. The wasteland, once a symbol of despair and division, had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for the world. As the years turned into centuries, the memory of Clone Johnny Vanjak and the united vision of the 50 states lived on, guiding future generations to embrace the principles of democracy, freedom, and cooperation. The graves of Clone Johnny and the real Johnny Vanjak became a place of pilgrimage, a reminder of the power of unity in the face of adversity. And so, in this new era of the 50 states of America, the wasteland stood as a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, forever shaped by the slow-burning war and the united vision of its people. The legacy of Clone Johnny Vanjak and the slow-burning war had forever transformed the continent, leaving behind a legacy of hope and a united future for the United States of America. In the centuries that followed the slow-burning war and the united vision of the 50 states of America, the wasteland was finally reborn into a world that resembled its pre-war counterpart. The scars of the past had healed, and the land once marred by nuclear devastation was now teeming with life and abundance. The 50 states of America continued to flourish, upholding the principles of democracy, freedom, and cooperation that had guided them from the ashes of the Great War. The wasteland's transformation into a united and prosperous nation became a model for other lands, inspiring them to seek peace and progress in a world still grappling with the fallout of the past. Trade and cultural exchange between the 50 states and other nations flourished, fostering an era of global cooperation and unity. The wasteland, once a symbol of despair and destruction, became a symbol of hope and resilience for the entire world. The legacy of clone Johnny Vanjik and the slow-burning war lived on in the hearts of the people, serving as a reminder of the power of unity in the face of adversity. His vision of a united America had become a reality, and his memory was forever etched in the nation's history. The wasteland's cities and settlements thrived, adorned with architectural marvels that celebrated the continent's rich history and cultural diversity. Museums and educational institutions flourished, preserving the knowledge of the past and guiding future generations towards progress. With the wasteland finally at peace, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Reclaimers, and the other factions that had played crucial roles in the slow-burning war focused on new challenges. They continued their mission of safeguarding technology, preserving history, and promoting the values of unity and cooperation. As generations passed, the story of the slow-burning war and the united vision of the 50 states of America became a cherished part of the continent's lore. The memory of the wasteland's transformation and the sacrifices made to achieve unity served as a reminder of the potential for greatness that lay within humanity. And so, in this new era, the wasteland stood as a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, forever shaped by the slow-burning war and the united vision of its people. The legacy of clone Johnny Vanjik and the slow-burning war had forever transformed the continent, leaving behind a legacy of hope and a united future for the United States of America. The wasteland was no longer a wasteland, but a thriving and vibrant nation, united by a shared history and a vision of a better world. The dream of a united America had become a reality, not only for the 50 states but for the entire continent. The slow-burning war and the united vision of the 50 states had forever transformed the course of history, leaving behind a legacy of hope and a united future for the continent once known as the United States of America.